Okay, there's a few things that I forgot to mention in the upcoming video. Ida blew through with just a day of rain. The kittens were last seen heading south with their mother, and I actually wore the same shirt on 2 days of filming. But I promise you, it got washed in between because if you notice, I changed my bandana. Hi, I'm Russ. I'm rebuilding a 1977 Mobile Traveler motorhome. And this is all about the MT and me.
What are you doing?
Oh, hi. Well, you know, we're about 12 to 18 hours away from getting some pretty stormy conditions here, so since we can't really get started on something, I thought maybe we could at least knock out a little sweeping and clean up and maybe talk about these windows again, since we kind of realized we might have made an error in positioning them like we did. So, what do you think?
I think that is a very good idea.
Welcome back once again to the MT and me. Like we said, we're waiting on the storm, so it's just kind of a little clean up, spruce up, think about stuff day today, since we don't want to get involved in any kind of project that we'll have to interrupt because of the weather. Remember a couple of videos ago, we were talking about windows. You know, we bought those nice crank out windows that we really want to have here in our MT, and we decided we have a 4-foot and a 5-foot length. So we decided, well, let's put the 5-foot one on this side and the 4-foot on the other side, which is actually where there's a big 5-foot window right now. So we have to size that down, and obviously have to cut this one out a little bit. Well, we went through all that trouble to get this up and talk about it, and we never stopped to realize there's a steel brace right here. A steel wall brace that if we put this window in, we would have to move it down here, which is going to put it really too close to the other one to do what it's intended to do, which is stabilize the wall. So we figured the engineers that designed that probably had a better idea than we have, so we're not going to mess with the steel brace. We're going to leave it where they put it. But that presents a problem because we can't fall into the floor here. It's where the toilet used to be. It presents a problem if I don't fall out, because our two windows, like we said, are 48 inches and 60 inches. Well, from here to here is not 48 inches, so we can't put the smaller window here either. So here's the plan. The windows we bought are two-sectioned windows. It has one crank out, a set of 3 panes on one end that crank out, and on the other half there's another set of 3 panes that crank out separately. So we're thinking, what if we split the difference, come down the middle, the center divider, and separate the windows. That way we'll have, on this 5-foot window, one 30-inch window, which will fit in this space just perfectly. And we'll have another 30-inch window that we can go down the wall and fit in the space between the braces, really where this window is.
Which will give me a window over the sink.
Precisely. And that's something that we wanted to have, and we were kind of lamenting the fact that one big window here wouldn't do that. So it solves that problem too. On the other side, we have the 4-foot, the 48-inch window, which we could leave in one piece, but for the sake of symmetry, we could split it into two 24-inch windows and put one here and one here, and just leave a wall space between them. It'll leave us some wall to do something with. So that's the current way of thinking. Not to say it might not change again, but I really can't believe we got that up and got all excited about it and never even thought about the fact that there's a 1-inch square steel bar going right down the middle of it. So, yeah, well, some of these things you just don't notice until later. And then when it dawns on you, you're like, duh, you know. So anyway, I think splitting the windows is a good solution, and I believe we'll like the results on that.
Wish us luck.
Which is luck.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
the other thing we've talked about earlier today was the, I guess the order of procedure we need to work on here on the MT. So, this order of precedence, we were trying to figure out what jobs we need to take care of. There are some leaks in here. We've established that already. You know, I'm telling you that right along this seam where the fiberglass and the rest of the body attach to each other, it's formed some leaks. There are a few other little places that are seeping. The back window's leaking a little bit too. So we need to take care of those because there's no sense in doing anything on the interior until we have it completely sealed up and watertight. And then we got to thinking, you know, we really should fix the outside before we spend much time at all on the inside. I mean, what we've done so far is fine. We've cleaned it out. We've still got to get the flooring out and some other stuff too. But for the most part, we've stripped out the inside. So the next step is really to get the outside in the condition we want, which will include not leaking.
Yeah.
Take care of that. Take care of the windows, move the door, all this other stuff we've talked about, and then, and only then, can we come inside and have that blank palette to work with so that we can start building the home space that we really want. So, another part of that fix-up, in addition to just getting this off for the sake of restoring it in leaks, is fixing the deck here on the overcab area. It's not really bad on this side except right over there. But on this side, I can see daylight all along the... You're laughing because it's bad all over, I know.
I'm laughing because it's bad all over.
But comparing this side to that side, this side is better, okay?
This is my optimistic husband.
It's not as bad. It's pretty bad, you know. I mean, I can reach over here and you know, pick up wood, so...
We'll get B-roll in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the good side.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the side he says is not bad.
This
Which
is
it's not.
This is actually the aluminum that's on the outside right there. That's
Yeah.
down to the...
It's not bad if you
That's-
compare it to...
This is all good up here. This is pretty good. Got a bad spot right there. But here again, this is where it starts to leak at. And then you get into here and there. If you get over here, that's pretty bad right there.
Yeah.
So it's come completely loose and lost all of its bracing. The only integrity it has is the fiberglass and the fact that it's still attached around the edge to the fiberglass. The fiberglass itself, it's fine. We got the lichen off of it way back when we first started this series. It's doing great. You have to replace the dent, but small thing. And work on the windows, I guess, too.
Yeah.
We've got to do that. So, yeah, the fiberglass is good. Everything else is falling apart. We're restoring, replacing, you know, completely we are redoing. That's R-I-E doing this vehicle, okay? Talk to the Rie. She'll fill you in on it. And
And of course, the engine is a totally separate project
yeah.
from what we're talking about. So you Betty Glenn don't need to be getting mad at me for pulling you off the engine.
No.
But I know how y'all talk behind my back.
And to my buddy Glenn, who I know is watching, my next step is pulling the spark plugs, getting some Miracle Oil in there, let it soak, and then see if we can manually move the crankshaft in the engine. You know, if we can do that, I'll be getting back to you and we'll go from there. So. Hi, I'm here to sell you Marvel Mystery Oil. The mysterious, marvelous oil for your motor. Welcome back to the MT. We are here to work on the motor some today. I have my Marvel Mystery Oil here. We need to get all the spark plugs out and get a pretty good dose of this oil into each cylinder. What this will do will help make sure that the cylinders are not stuck to the inside of their sleeves and that the rings haven't gotten stuck or rusted shut, since this motor has not moved inside in a long, long time. So we're going to get the spark plugs out, get some oil in, let it soak for 2 days or so, and then we'll come back and see about turning that engine over. I debated exactly what the best way to get oil inside a cylinder was. I happen to have a nice old basic oil can. This was my father's, so it's been around probably more years than I have. Can't really tell how much I'm putting in there. It seems to be doing a pretty good squirt with every pump, and I've done about, I don't know, 7 or 8 pumps in each cylinder, so I'm assuming that's a pretty good little dose of oil. Okay, that's all 8 plugs, and overall they don't look that bad. None of them are damaged in any way, none of them are burnt. Like I said, there's a little black ash, and a couple of them have a little grayish ash that has formed on them. But both of those situations can occur, you know, under just normal driving, normal wear and tear. I'm pleased that the plugs look so good, because it means that the engine had not been abused, at least prior to it being set up and parked for so long. The engine has oil in it that actually looks pretty good, and there's even still coolant in the radiator. It's full of coolant. So we can be pretty sure nothing froze over in it during some of those Nebraska winters that it just sat there and did nothing. So here's hoping that when I get a good shot of oil in each one of these 4 cylinders on this side, let it soak a few days, maybe we can get a wrench on the crankshaft on the front and turn this motor through a full 360-degree rotation, see if it's all freed up and functioning properly. If it'll go a full 360 degrees, then there's a good chance we might not have to take this motor out and rebuild it completely. I've been hesitant to say that because I'm afraid I'll jinx the whole project. So you keep your fingers crossed with me, okay? Meanwhile,
Better knock on wood.
I'm knocking on wood, like she said to. I'm going to put some Miracle Oil in these cylinders. All right, all 8 plugs are out. There's Miracle Oil in all 8 cylinders. So we're going to give it a couple of days to soak. I think I will come back tomorrow and maybe give it another dousing with oil, really good, just to be sure there's plenty in every one of the cylinders. And this weekend, we'll take a hard look at it and see what we need to do can maybe turn that engine over, just see if it'll move. This is a tent. Hasn't been unrolled in about a decade or so. We, over the years, have been active with the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronism. And we made this tent as part of our personas of the Viking. This is a Viking A-frame tent. When it was all put together, it was about 12 feet tall and about 12 feet across at the bottom, great big triangle. So, needless to say, there's a lot of canvas here. It's actually canvas drop cloth. It's been stored in our shed now for almost a decade. We're going to unroll it, see what it looks like, see what condition it's in, and see if maybe we can't use it for a tarp cover to go over the top of the MT, so we can take everything off the top, things like the air conditioner, the antenna, things that are going to leave some holes, and we'll cover those up, as well as the leaks we already have that are seeping water. Maybe get the water out, keep the water out of the inside, we can go to work on the inside. Now that I've unrolled this thing here, I don't think there's enough room to finish unrolling it. Like I said, it's about, 12 by 20 feet, something like that. So we're going to move it to another part of the yard where we have room, and we'll see what kind of condition it's in.
How's it going?
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
It's reproducing as I go.
I tell you what, why don't you get on one end and I'll get on the other end and we'll keep flipping it out.
Stains and dirt notwithstanding, right here's the only damage. Something's chewed on that. Oh look, it's a heart.
Aww.
How sweet. It's a nice little heart-shaped hole. The question is, now this is canvas. Like I said, it's canvas drop cloth. Medium weight, I guess, as canvas comes. It's not real light. It's not the lightest stuff, but it's certainly not heavy like a canvas tarp that they use in the trucking industry that they cover flatbeds with. It's not nearly that heavy, or I wouldn't have been towing it around like I have been. So what we're going to do now is paint it to make it waterproof, and then we can use it over the top of the MT so that we can get all the things off the top leave the holes there for now and not have to worry about water pouring in through them, and not have to worry about water leaking in the seams and other places where it has been causing a problem ever since we parked Pearl there. Okay? And I think we've got plenty of tarp here. We'll have plenty to come down the sides and secure it so that it won't have to worry about it blowing off or anything like that. What you doing? Well, referring to my trusty shop manual here, trying to find out exactly what size nut is on the end of the crankshaft. So far I'm not finding that information, which probably means I'm just not looking in the right place. But what I have found out is that I don't have the right size socket, whatever the size is. I know it's larger than 1 1/16", but not much larger. So whether it's 1 1/8" or 1 3/16" maybe, I don't have those sockets to test it. So I'm trying to find out exactly what that size may be before I run off and buy a new socket or a new set of sockets. I have a very limited space, maybe about that much workspace to work in from underneath the front, to try and get a socket inside, deep inside the pulley and the vibration damper assembly around that nut, get the wrench on it, and then have a little bit of room to get some leverage to move. I may not have enough leverage to turn it, and if that's the case, then I'm going to have to raise the front end up to give myself enough room to extend the lever on the socket. That remains to be seen. And I got sidetracked. I noticed there was this beautiful orange color, so I got sidetracked washing the grease off. They're not clean by any means, but at least you can tell that they're colored. So I figured I'd do that too, just to make this whole engine look a little prettier while we work on it. I'm not sure if you can see, but the valve covers are actually blue. That's Mopar blue. We'll get them off and get them cleaned up later. Whoa. A final point of sacrilege. I wipe off the oil filter down here just to get it cleaned. It's a Motorcraft oil filter by Ford. No wonder this engine had problems. Well, Pearl is a true hybrid now. We know it. She's going to be more so of a hybrid when we finish with her, too.
Amen to that.
All right. She's not clean, but look, there's some blue and some orange up here. How about that? A little white down on the oil filter. Okay. I told you about the socket. 1 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch drive, deep socket, and it fits perfectly right over the end of the crankshaft. So I get my 1/2 inch drive. May need an extension on that to do it, and if that's the case, I may have to raise the front end up a little bit. There's a lot of maybes there, and I'm not going to get into the work tonight because it's about a half hour from sundown, and I'm not going to be working in the dark out here. I know I said I'd try to turn it over this afternoon. Well, that ain't happening, but I've got what I need to do it now. So tomorrow's kind of a question mark too. In my day job at the radio station, we're introducing a new format on one of our FMs tomorrow, and I have to be there tomorrow morning for the technical switchover. That's going to take some of my time. Maybe I'll have some time to get out here and work with it. Whenever I do, you're going to be here with me. So, please stand by. Hi there. Cherie doesn't know I'm out here trying this. I have kind of snuck away. She's had me so busy cleaning that I haven't had time to actually see if I'm going to be able to turn this motor over. So, I got a few moments right now. I got my wrench. We're going to give it a try and just see if I can budge this old 360 engine. It's been 3 days with the Miracle Oil soaking in the cylinders. I still got the plugs out, so there's no compression. Got the right size socket. The trouble is I can barely get to it and barely get my wrench in place. Let's see if it'll go clockwise any. Oh, it's gonna be fun. I can tell. Okay. Well, as you can probably tell, it hasn't budged a millimeter. Get under here where I can put my weight against it. And I slipped off the nut, of course. Well, it's not budging clockwise, which is the direction it needs to go. Let me just see if I can rock it back counter any at all. Well, it's not moving that way either. So, we'll be back to try again, because I don't give up that easily.
Russ, what are you doing?
Well, that's obviously not going to work. So, I'll have to take the long way around about doing that job. But there's no time in this video for that, so we'll do it next week. And we'll also get that canvas top on Pearl as well, so we can get her all sealed up and watertight. But that's for later. For now, that's going to wrap things up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. We keep seeing those subscriptions crawl a little higher and higher, so I'm prescribing that you subscribe. And don't forget to like and share the video too, and give us a thumbs up. Till next time, I am Russ. Rie's behind the camera. We'll talk later.